Good day to everyone. We will be presenting about residential dwelling. So residential dwelling occupancy shall include Division A1 and Division A2. Division A1 occupancy shall include residential buildings, structures for exclusive use of single-family occupants, including school or company staff housing, places of worship, community facilities, and social centers. Division A2 includes building for the exclusive use of non-leasing occupants not exceeding 10 persons, including single, attached, duplex, or townhouses. We have three uses: principal, accessory, and conditional. For principal uses, Division A1 includes indigenous family dwelling units, single detached units, school or company staff houses, single family dwellings which are nuclear, places of worship, and community facilities. For Division A2, single attached duplex and townhouses, each privately owned, school dormitories, convents, military or police barracks, and outpatient clinics. For the accessory use of Division A1, customary accessory uses incidental to any of the principal uses housed in the same Division A1, provided that accessory uses shall not include any activity conducted for monetary gain or commercial purposes. Auxiliary uses customarily conducted in dwellings and homes for the practice of one's professions, such as office of dentists, architects, lawyers, and other professionals, provided that they are members of the family. Provided further that not more than 3 assistants are employed at any time. Home industry classified as cottage industry provided that such home industry shall not occupy 30% of the floor area. There shall be no change in the outside appearance of the dwelling unit. Recreational facilities for the exclusive use of family members such as pool, pilato court, and etc. Religious uses and multipurpose barangay halls. For Division A2, customary incidental home occupations such as barbers and beauty shops, tailoring and dress shops, neighborhood convenience stores, retail drugstores. For the conditional uses, Division A1 includes preparatory schools provided that they do not exceed 3 classrooms and shall be located less than 500 meters from the nearest existing schools that offer the same courses. Boarding houses with no more than 8 boarders. Neighborhood convenience stores selling miscellaneous items shall not exceed 10% of gross floor area or GFA, and provided that no liquor shall be allowed for sale. Auto video and computer rental shop provided that such shops shall not include 10% of the total floor area. Home occupation engaging in an in-house business provided that the use area shall not occupy more than 20% of the total floor area. Home industry classified as cottage industry provided that it will not occupy more than 30% of the gross floor area (GFA) with employees not exceeding 5 persons and no changes in the outside appearance of the dwelling unit. For Division A2, voice and dance studios provided that the classes is held in soundproof and air-conditioned buildings, sanitaria, and convalescent homes, charitable institutions upon approval of the building officials, apartment hotels or hotels, processing, refilling, and retailing of bottled drinking water, provided that clearances from local health departments shall be secured. Home occupation for the practice of one's profession or engaging in an in-house business provided that the area in use shall not exceed 30% of the gross floor area. Car barns for not more than 3 units LPG retailing with a maximum of 20 units at any given time, recreational facilities, bank branches, savings, loans and lending. For the allowable maximum total gross floor area or TGFA for residential group A1 without firewalls, you may refer to this table. For residential group A1 with firewalls, please again refer to this table. Maximum height of buildings. Building height limit, or also known as BHL, the maximum height to be allowed for building structures based on their purpose, use, or occupancy. The BHL is generally determined after the application of other development controls and certain other parameters. BHL excludes the height of permitted allowed projections above the roof of the building structures. Example are signage, mast, antenna, telecom tower, beacons, and the like. Please refer to this table for the building height limit. Other consideration in height determination. The designer planner must consider both the present and projected population density within the project site. A proposed building structure which has a greater TGFA requirement shall be built higher than that with a lower TGFA requirement. Soil characteristics, lot location in relation to fault lines and earthquake belts or proximity to volcanoes and other geological conditions. Hydrological conditions such as the water table at the site and distance to waterways and shorelines. The minimum required off-street, come-on-site, parking slot, parking area, loading-unloading space requirements. For Division A1, character of occupancies or type of building structures, single, family, and multi-family dwelling units. Minimum required parking slot, parking area, and loading space requirements. For lots measuring from 100 to 120 square meters, a minimum of one off-street come on-site parking lot for each dwelling unit. Units measuring 50 to 96 square meters with a gross floor area of 30 to 42 square meter, a minimum of one off-site come on-site parking slot. One unit, unit with a lot measuring 100 to 120 square meters, a minimum of one come-on-site parking slot for each lot. Units more than 120 square meters having a minimum of more than 42 square meters gross floor area, a minimum of one come-on-site parking slot for each dwelling unit. Units located in townhouses building structures regardless of the number of stories. Units with a gross floor area of 50 square meters must provide one pooled parking slot for every 2 units. Unit with a gross floor area above 150 square meters must provide 2 parking slots for each unit. Indigenous family dwelling units each privately owned. At least one car parking slot for every 6 dwelling units and which shall be provided outside of the RRO within property or lot lines only. For Division A2, the occupancies or type of building structures, multi-family dwelling units located in residential condominium buildings, structures regardless of number of stories. The minimum required parking slots space requirements is units with a gross floor area of 18 to 22 square meters must provide one pooled parking slot for every 8 units. Units with a gross floor area up to 50 square meters must provide one pooled parking slot for every 6. Units with a gross floor area above 50 square meters up to 100 square meters must provide one pooled parking for every 4 medium-cost units or provide one parking slot for each open.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the group presentation of Group 5. Industrial is a large-scale business or a manufacturing business. Industrial occupancy shall include ice plants, power plants, pumping plants, cold storage factories, and workshops using incombustible and non-explosive materials, and storage and sales room for incombustible and non-explosive materials. Used principal accessory conditional. Principal goods are both and used for industrial and business use. Division F1, the examples are ice plants and cold storage buildings, power plants, pumping plants, dairies and creameries, rice mills and sugar centrals, breweries, bottling plants, canneries and tanneries, factories and workshops using combustible or non-explosive materials. Next slide. Accessory is an area zoned and planned for the purpose of industrial development. Division F1 or light industrial, also a customer support facilities for industry, such as housing, community, utilities, and services. Conditional Division F1 build a structure with lesser negative environmental impact. Although there are several positives to the industrial term, there are also many negative elements including poor living conditions, low wages, child labor, and pollution. Next slide. Allowable maximum total gross floor area or the TGFA. So as you can see in our PDF, can you refer on this? Note that the building height limit or BHL must be multiplied by the ANDL expressed as percentage of the total lot area of the TLA. Next slide. Allowable floor area is the total floor area inside the building envelope, including the external walls and excluding the roof. In general, the allowable maximum total gross floor area or the TGFA of any proposed building structure shall only be allowed under this building height limit. It also aids in controlling density and the limit the maximum height of structures. Maximum height of buildings. The maximum height and number of stories of proposed building shall be dependent upon the character of use or occupancy and the type of construction. Considering end user population density, light and ventilation, width of RROW, streets particularly of its roadway, carriageway component, building bulk, off-street come off-site parking requirements, local land use plan, and zoning regulations. Environmental consideration, prevailing traffic condition, availability and capacity of public, utility, or service system. Next slide. Character of use of occupancy, industrial. Type of building structure, industrial 1. In number of allowable stories for above established grade 15 meters but not exceed the duty approved BHL in the major zone. It is a part of meters above highest grade. Industrial 2, 21 meters but not exceed the duty approved BHL in the major zone. It is a part of. Industrial 3, 27 meters but not exceed the duty approved BHL in the major zone. It is a part of. Next slide. Other considerations in height determination. Number 1. Soil characteristics, lot location in relation to fault lines and earthquake belts or proximity to volcanoes and other geological conditions. Number 2. Hydrological condition, such as the water table at the site and the distance to waterways and shorelines. Number 3, meteorological conditions such as the frequency and intensity of destructive typhoons, monsoon winds, rains, prevailing wind speed, and direction. Number 4, effects of environmental condition on the building structure and the vice versa coupled with the effective control of air, noise, and thermal pollution radiant heat, lights, and shadows, and the optimization of natural light and ventilation. 5. Effects of traffic condition on the building structure and vice versa, and the satisfaction of parking, loading requirements in accordance with 074. Always remember that. Number 6. Availability and capacity of public utility. Service system considering availability and adequacy of electric power, potable and non-potable water supply, drainage and sewerage, transportation and communication facilities, solid waste management system, and etc. 7. Need for applicable building safety and maintenance system, lighting arresters, beacons, protective railings and barriers, gondolas, window washing. Minimum required off-street RROW common site parking slot, parking area and loading space requirements. Division F1 references uses of character of occupancies or type of building structures, industrial buildings, mills, breweries, and etc. One car slot for every 1,000 square meters of gross floor area and one bus slot for every 100 workers. If number of workers exceed 200, provide one of RROW passenger loading space that can be accommodated to. Give jeepney shuttle slots. Provide at least one loading slot for truck or vehicle. 12-meter long container van plus 6 meters length for a long hooded prime mover, and one loading slot for a standard truck for every 5,000 square meters or GFA, and provide a truck maneuvering area outside of the RROW.